With Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do now. But it's not always been like that.
It's always been, yeah, I can imagine.
This is my brother.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Taylor Tyson, we got.
Yeah, right?
Who you got?
When is that gonna be?
November. It got rescheduled.
Well, look, Mike was fantastic, but, you know, Mike's a little older now.
Yeah.
And you guys can fight.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but you guys can really fight, legitimately fight.
Thank you, sir.
At first I said, it's so amazing because I always thought like a UFC guy or a top, even contender would be able to win at 75 years old.
You think?
But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
The clock is still the clock.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened? Hey, let's talk about that too. Brother-in-law said, hey Mike, man, I know you're not gonna win, but somebody said, would you fight this guy for like 40 million or 30 million?
You rip into the body and throwing those hooks. I was like, this is a man who's preparing to go to combat.
That was 30 seconds.
Have you seen the latest drama involving Joe Rogan, Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul? It's been all over social media and sports news. Rumor has it that Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation turned boxer, got knocked out in a sparring session, and Joe Rogan and Mike Tyson had a field day roasting him. Let me break it down for you. It's both hilarious and intriguing. In a recent heated conversation between Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul, Jake Paul made some surprising admissions about his upcoming fight with the legendary Mike Tyson. The conversation, which took place under the scrutiny of a lie detector, revealed Jake's true thoughts on Tyson's power, his own chances of victory, and the sibling rivalry between the Paul brothers.
Tell Mike Tyson that because he does not give a shit what anyone thinks. He's his own boss. He wants to fight me. He told my team, like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, tell Jake I'm still gonna rip his head off.
Let's do it, Jakey.
Do you really think that you're gonna beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The conversation started with Logan questioning Jake's confidence about the fight. When asked if he really believed he could beat Mike Tyson, Jake's confident yes was met with the lie detector's test, setting the stage for a series of revealing questions.
Evander
What do you mean?
Holyfield is coming back now,
What?
too. Yes. Have you seen the Mike Tyson
He's
video?
like 65.
Mike Tyson's coming back.
What?
Yes. You haven't seen? Dude.
No.
Okay. Go to Mike Tyson's page for his most recent video on his Instagram. Get ready for this.
Oh, really?
Get ready for this, because he looks sensational.
What is he, 55?
53.
53.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he's a year older than I am. I'm 52. But he looks incredible.
Really?
Terrifying. Dude,
He was so terrible. Was
wait
there
till you see
anything more
this.
exciting than his fights?
They were a cultural event.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean,
so exciting.
The only concern was that you were going to spend money and you weren't going to get it back. Look at this.
Right.
You needed volume so you can hear this too.
Whoa.
I mean, what in the
Oh, my God.
dude? He looks like old. I'm back.
I'm back.
You know what's really funny?
Oh, my
He
God.
said on the podcast when he was in here, he said he didn't want to work out again because his ego would get fired up again.
Uh-huh.
And he's actually said that in his post that my ego had been reignited.
Does that mean his
Yeah.
rage?
No, see if you can find it.
That his ego would be...
There's he said
Because he's like being zen and doesn't want
Yeah,
to...
he gave a statement about it, saying that like his ego has been reignited.
Good for him.
Yeah. Oh,
Good for us.
He said something about how the gods of war have brought him out again. It was like really heavy duty
Jeez.
shit. I think it's real recent.
Wow.
Like, see if you can find the quote, but it was like, oh my god.
When you were with
it was
him-
gods of war have reignited my ego,
Oh, my God.
and I'm ready to go again. Yeah,
Jeez.
he's gonna fight.
How do you think he'd fare against a
I think
28-year-old?
I don't know. It depends on the 28-year-old, but I think that you for sure need a guy who's really good at fighting to keep him off you.
Yeah.
Even if you're in your 20s.
Right.
Here, Mike Tyson explains his desire to fight again. I feel unstoppable now. The gods of war have reawakened me. And he said something about his ego firing up. See if you can find that quote. Because that was one of the things that he actually talked about in the podcast. The gods of war have awakened me. They've reignited my ego and want me to go to war again. If they don't drug test him, they don't test him for hormones. Things are way different.
What do you mean?
Because if he takes hormones, if he's taking testosterone and growth hormone, thyroid hormone, all the things that people do when they take hormone replacement therapy, your body functions way better at a way later age. It's different. It's very different. So if we're talking about like being a 53-year-old man in 1985, there's no chance.
Right.
Everybody fell apart. Like you'd have to like be a really, really, really rare person who doesn't take hormones and can perform like a 30-year-old when you're in your 50s. But when you're on hormones, you can kind of do it.
As the lie detector test commenced, the questions quickly shifted to personal matters, highlighting the intense sibling rivalry between Jake and Logan. From favorite child debates to who their dad prefers, it was clear that the Paul brothers had more on their minds than just boxing. But the real meat of the conversation came when Logan pressed Jake on his chances against Tyson. With a straight face, Jake claimed he could beat Logan in a fight, but when asked about Tyson, his response was a bit more interesting. Jake admitted that age wouldn't play a big role in the fight, calling Mike Tyson a killer at any age. This surprising admission from Jake shows a rare moment of honesty, acknowledging the power and prowess of Tyson despite the age difference. As if that wasn't enough, the conversation turned to conspiracy theories. When asked if the fight was rigged, Jake firmly stated, absolutely not. That's a federal crime. Well, good to know Jake's on the right side of the law. But perhaps the most eye-opening part of the conversation was when Logan asked Jake about performance-enhancing drugs. Jake, ever the Joker, quipped that taking Viagra counts. When pressed for a serious answer, he finally said no. It's comforting to know that Jake's keeping it clean, at least in that department. Despite his bravado, Jake's final words about the fight revealed a rare vulnerability. When asked if he really thought he could beat Mike Tyson, Jake's nervous admission of uncertainty spoke volumes. He acknowledged that it's going to be tough and that he's nervous about the fight.
Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability? Or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability with what you've seen to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's where his mindset's at.
He get by Canelo. There's no way he get demolished. But for what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys, that's kind of over the hill, he's gonna continue to shine.
Jake Paul, who has built his brand on confidence and bravado, is now facing the reality of stepping into the ring with a legend. His nervousness and uncertainty are a stark contrast to his usual cocky demeanor. And let's be honest, who wouldn't be nervous? We're talking about Mike Tyson, a man whose name is synonymous with power and fear in the boxing world. Jake's dreaming if he thinks he's got this in the bag.
He sends me this text message. He goes, dude, check this out. And it's you. And I remember looking at it and going, oh, what happened? What happened?
Hey, let's talk about that too. His brother-in-law said, hey, Mike, man, I know you're not going to win, but somebody said, would you fight this guy for like 40 million or 30 million?
And you rip into the body and throwing those hooks. I was like, this is a man who's preparing to go to combat.
That was 30 seconds.
But hey, dreams are what keep us going, right? And Jake Paul is certainly dreaming big, maybe too big. The boxing world is watching, and the reactions from professionals have been mixed, to say the least. Boxing professionals and analysts have weighed in, with many highlighting Tyson's enduring power and experience. Some have even chuckled at Jake's confidence, noting that facing Tyson is no small feat. Joe Rogan himself commented on the intensity of the upcoming fight, noting that Jake is in for the fight of his life. So as we approach the date of the fight, the question remains, can Jake Paul, with all his youthful confidence and bravado, really stand up to the legendary Mike Tyson, or is he simply dreaming? One thing is for sure, this fight is set to be an unforgettable clash of generations. Will Jake's dreams come true, or will Tyson show that age is just a number when it comes to true power and experience?
Wanted to make sure that Mike was healthy. I love and respect Mike, and I was pretty devastated for everyone on the undercard as well. And just this was such an iconic event, but thankfully Mike's okay.
Most boxing fans are pumped for Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's November showdown, but critics have blasted the problem child for fighting a mid-50s Iron Mike. When asked about this on TMZ Sports, Jake Paul didn't hold back.
Tell Mike Tyson that. He does not give a shit what anyone thinks. He's his own boss. He wants to fight me. He told my team, like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, tell Jake I'm still gonna rip his head off and knock him the fuck out, and that this just bought him more time. So tell Mike Tyson not to fight and to chill and see how that goes.
Because he does not give a s what anyone thinks. Paul told Babcock on the show. He's his own boss and wants to fight me. He told my team he's still G to rip my head off and knock me the F out. This just bought him more time. So tell Mike Tyson not to fight and see how that goes. Jake Paul shared his initial concerns when he heard about Mike Tyson's incident on the plane. He was worried about the potential cancellation of their fight, but was primarily concerned about Tyson's well-being.
Doing great, and we can still run it at a later date, and that's what I'm focused on now, is just getting to November 15th and still giving people a historic fight.
I was definitely pretty devastated, but wanted to make sure Mike was healthy. Thankfully, Mike's okay, and we can still run it at a later date. I'm focused on giving people a historic fight on November 15th. Paul also discussed his training adjustments with the fight being postponed. He mentioned having to pace himself and manage his weight.
And just stay focused on getting better in the gym and being committed to the goal of becoming world champion. I still have a lot of work to do, and that's why I've just stayed training throughout this process, but I'm definitely skinnier already by like 10 pounds. So
Wow.
I'm just going to go back to my normal cruiserweight division weight and stay focused on getting better in the gym. We'll pace it correctly and not overtrain. Timothy Bradley praised Tyson's enduring skills and spirit, emphasizing that age hasn't dulled Tyson's ferocity.
Are you on PEDs? Do you think I would beat KSI in a fight?
Different date, same fate. I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
He highlighted Tyson's legendary status and his ability to still pack a punch that can knock anyone out.
Yeah. It looked like an old
I think Mike wants this more than anyone, and if he wants it, then I'm down.
Errol Spence appreciated Jake Paul's dedication, but stressed that Tyson, even in his 50s, is a dangerous opponent. Spence believes Tyson's experience and power make him a formidable challenge for Paul. Andre Berto expressed skepticism about the fight, questioning if it's a fair matchup given Tyson's age, but also acknowledging Tyson's unparalleled experience and technical skills. Joe Rogan, a longtime admirer of Tyson, weighed in on the fight during his podcast. He praised Tyson's recent training videos, noting that Tyson still moves with the speed and power of his younger days. Mike Tyson is a beast. Even at 50, he's a force to be reckoned with. Jake Paul better be prepared because Tyson isn't coming for a friendly spar. Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson is shaping up to be one of the most talked about fights of the year. Despite the critics, both fighters are gearing up for an epic showdown. What do you think about this fight?
Jake admitted that age wouldn't play a big role in the fight, calling Mike Tyson a killer at any age. This surprising admission from Jake shows a rare moment of honesty, acknowledging the power and prowess of Tyson despite the age difference. As if that wasn't enough, the conversation turned to conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
When
go
asked if
back
the
to
fight was
my
rigged,
normal,
Jake firmly stated,
walking
absolutely
around
not.
cruiserweight
That's a federal
division,
crime, Will. Good to know
weight.
Jake's on the right side of the law. But perhaps the most eye-opening part of the conversation was when Logan asked Jake about performance-enhancing drugs. Jake, ever the joker, answer, he finally said no.
Have you ever rigged any of your fights?
Bro, get a job.
I don't see Jake doing much against Mike.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me. Jake Paul. The conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. There's no one that can match me. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible. This guy's gonna come. He's gonna try to hurt me, which I'm accustomed to, and he's gonna be greatly mistaken. I don't think I'll be smoking for this fight, and I think I'm gonna be really irritable and nasty. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah. They want to fuck with me? When fighting gets you erect, what does that mean? It's orgasmic sometimes.
Something unbelievable to see, to be honest with you. A heavyweight guy, moving like a lightweight.
They want to fuck with me? Jake Paul. I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me. Slip, whip. Yep. Me whip your butt.
pass down.
I think we should do that.
It'd be awesome. Yeah.
I don't see how Jake survives a body attack.
Can I make the comparison to Yoda in Star Wars?
I'd rather have a few years of glory than a lifetime of obscurity. Yeah. I'd rather die 20 than live to be 60 and be nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know Yoda. Yeah. Like, he'd be hobbling around doing whatever, but when Yoda goes...
I don't see how Jake survives a body attack.
Can I make the comparison to Yoda in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like, you know Yoda. Yeah. Like, he'd be hobbling around doing whatever, but when Yoda goes to battle, you can't be Yoda. That's his own.
The process goes through the whole day. I get up in the morning, do the road work, then I go to the gym at 1, then I go to the strength and conditioning guy, then it starts all over again.
But if that Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul, Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it. So you have to say,
fuck Jake Paul. I like that shit. Yeah.
It was good while it lasted for Jake, okay? It was good while it lasted. It's not going to last much longer. You're fat, Jake. I saw him with his shirt off the other day. He's fat. Did you start training already? He's not going to win. Nigga, he couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How's he going to knock me out? He didn't knock out Tommy Fury. What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock those little guys. How you going to knock me out? And you're apprehensive. And once you're apprehensive, it's over with.
Please promise me you're going to kick this guy's ass and shut him up, please.
Hey, I'll do just that for you. He didn't never knocked out a real man. Come on.
Even coming off the best, I still think he wins. Coming off,
it's hard to say because you never bet against a 27-year-old
No, I get it.
fighting a 58-year-old.
You know, 60 and over 60 was 30 years ago. Yeah. 60 is very young now. I have a weird personality. I don't think it's weird, though. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. Anything I'm afraid of, I confront it, and that's my personality. All of us have adversities in our life. We lose people and everything. But my situation was I want to be up more than anybody in the world want me to be down. So that's why I'm right here talking to him. Because I don't let nobody bring me down. No one can bring me down. They can shoot me, they can put me in prison, but they can't stop me from being the greatest what I do.
People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight.
In this world with hormone replacement and vitamins and he does all this electrical muscular stimulation recovery stuff. Like when they were training Mike for that Roy Jones fight, like they were using state-of-the-art science. Yeah. Like I don't give a if you think he's 55 years old. That guy will hurt you.
You can't be Yoda. That's his own.
I don't see Jake doing much against Mike.
I work my ass off, honey. Mike now weighs 230 pounds, and he's got these muscles in his forearms. So he's sitting there, and he's a different human. He's so intense that I was like, if this table was closer to him, I would be nervous. Like, I wouldn't be able to do my best job as a podcaster. That's the reason why this table is this width.
Sign the contract, big boy. Come on, sign the contract.
Nice. Relax. Beautiful.
Still wanna fuck with me?
In a stunning display of determination and skill, Mike Tyson is back, fiercely training for his upcoming fight against Jake Paul on July 20th this summer. Despite his age, Tyson's movements in the training video are fluid and powerful, showing no signs of glitching.
I'm losing it, I'm losing fits, I'm losing shit, I'm stupid, make you choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift,
His breathing is controlled, his timing impeccable, and his ability to tear up his opponent with his boxing skills is simply unbelievable.
Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
This is from my point of view of grabbing glory. You know, never for money, only glory. I would never risk my health for money. I don't think he's faster than me. I train every day.
So I'll give you guys the answer early. Is Jake Paul natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with, and I have heard things.
The process goes through the whole day. I get up in the morning, do the road work, then I go to the gym at 1, then I go to the strength and conditioning guy, then it starts all over again. Now understand this. I have a fight coming up June 20th, okay? Right now, I'm scared to death. But the closer it gets to the fight, the least nervous I become. And once it gets where I step in that ring, then it's all over. I'm not nervous anymore. I'm not scared anymore. He's gonna be nervous and scared.
I don't see Jake doing much against Mike.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me.
Jake Paul.
The conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. There's no one that can match me.
But it's wild the amount of people that think Mike actually stands a chance against me.
And the fact that he's willing to fight Tyson, even if Tyson's 57, just the fact that he's willing to actually take a chance at Mike Tyson not being able to do what he used to do. Because that's what he's doing. The gamble is, like...
When fighting gets you erect, what does that mean? It's orgasmic sometimes.
Something unbelievable to see. To be honest with you, a heavyweight guy moving like a lightweight.
There's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. You ever watch that fight?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Mike Tyson fight.
Still wanna fuck with me?
Tyson's footwork is a masterclass in itself, always in and out, making it difficult for his opponents to predict his next move. His right hand comes from nowhere, and it's so fast that you can't get out of the way.
You know, like Mike Tyson's mind has switched over into war. Like he was doing this interview, and someone said to him, he goes, "You look like you're in your 20s. Like, what are you doing?" He goes, "I just eat raw meat." He's like, "I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "You're eating raw meat?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm eating raw meat." He goes, "Because that's what I'm gonna eat when I fight. I'm gonna eat him. It's raw meat." It's a strange conversation to have because he was like so focused and so intense. You know, it was almost hard pulling conversation out of him.
At any time, did you feel afraid?
I'm always afraid when I'm around that guy. Kevin Hart said it best. He goes, "It's like being in a room with a lion." Like even if the lion is like...
And if Mike's okay with that, then I'm okay with that. The battle.